last video, we discussed budgets and how to save and make money for our trip. So now let's get down to the booking and figuring ways to stretch your dollar out as much as possible. In this video, we are going to discuss cheap spending tips while booking your travel and on the road, so you can afford to travel. Deciding where and when to go. Flexibility and time. These are the two biggest factors you should consider when budgeting for your trip. The more flexible you are, the more options you are going to have for your budget. The more time that you have in a destination, the cheaper you can stretch out your transportation options and accommodations. Two important things to keep in mind when booking your travels. Currency conversions. Before you decide where you want to go travel, you should always look up the currency rates of that country. Heck, you should do a comparison of your home currency to every other country and see whose currencies are currently low, i.e., which countries is your dollar going to stretch the furthest in? So going to notoriously expensive countries like the UK, Norway, Switzerland, Brazil even, depending on what country you are from, you're not going to get as much when you change it into the local currency, so you're not going to be able to travel as far. In reverse, if you have a stronger currency than the country you're traveling to, you are going to get a lot more for the same amount of money. Play around with currencies and amounts for the countries you are thinking of visiting, because just those little percentages can add up to a lot when you are spending a lot of money on your trips and travels. Expensive countries versus cheap countries. Not only does currency play a part and make a difference on how much money you're going to spend, but so does the cost of living in that country. Some countries are just really expensive to do anything in, like Monaco, for example. Everything you do generally will cost you a lot more because it's just an expensive country. So if you're looking for your dollar to stretch further, then pick cheaper countries or countries that have a lower cost of living. That being said, you shouldn't just let cost determine which countries you visit, because those expensive countries do have a lot to offer. Just know that you won't be able to travel there as long as you would in cheaper countries. Off-season versus peak season. Picking when you go is just as important as where you go. Peak season, as you can guess, is going to be more expensive and more crowded than the off season. Also, there tends to be a lot of deals in the off season. So, deals. Looking to save money, not deal with crowds? Off season travel. Deciding what to spend your money on. Starting from the biggest expenses first, that's a good way to create your travel budget to see how much you will need and how long you will go for. Airfare. This will likely be your biggest cost, so the more that you can save on your plane tickets, the better. Now there are one-way, round-trip, multi-trip, and round-the-world tickets. Now I'm not actually going to touch on how to get cheap airfare in this video, since I did a whole video about how to get cheap flights. Links up there, links down below there. Accommodation. Accommodations will typically be your second biggest cost. Now there are a lot of different options, a lot of cheap options, and a lot of expensive options. So there are things like hostels, couch surfing, Airbnb, HomeAways. For your cheaper, more budget options. You can even stay with friends, families. That saves you a lot of money as well. It's all about how comfortable you want to be with your accommodation. And don't always discount hotels, because you can find some amazing deals on hotels. So you can mix it up with your travels depending on, you know, where you are going, how much luxury you want, how much comforts or amenities that you're looking for. Mix it up. All I'm saying is there is a variety of accommodation options to suit any kind of budget that you are looking at and working with. Tours. This is where another huge variable cost comes into play. If you are doing an organized tour, a lot of times they budget certain things into the price of the tour, such as accommodation, activities, and food. So while the initial cost might seem large, if you actually budget and price out each item and thing that they offer, it could be more, equal to, or even less than doing it on your own. It all depends on the exact tour you're looking at and how much it would cost to do it on your own There's so many variables here, it really just comes down to crunching numbers and comparing for yourself, but they are a great option when traveling. Even if you don't do a full tour for your whole trip, you can mix up tours in between here and there to supplement certain parts or certain countries if you're doing like longer term travel. Tourism offices, so many resources. Take a trip down to your local tourism office in the country that you are visiting, or browse their website online. I feel like this is a really underused resource now in 2017, but tourism offices list out dozens of local tour providers, tour operators, hotels, activities, places to go eat. All of these are businesses that the tourism board has vetted for you and listed for you. And a lot of times it would take you hours of searching online to find these smaller providers in countries that you are going to. So go visit their website and browse. Watch your start. Hey, look at all this money we have. When you first start off in your destination, it's going to be hard to be frugal, to know when to think of saving each dollar and knowing when to stretch, or knowing when to budget, or knowing when to splurge, or to treat yourself, because you have a lot of money. But really watch your beginning, because that money can go far quicker than you realize, and you don't want to be stuck at the end of your trip or nearing the end of your trip and have run out of money, and then suddenly you can't do the things that you want to do. You're eating toast for days, or you're borrowing money from friends. Budget travel starts the day you arrive. You must be vigilant with your finances on day one. You made a budget for a reason, and every little bit matters on your trip. So don't go crazy in the first few days. Activities. I always say to save a fairly large amount for your activities, because that is one of the reasons why you are traveling, to do things in the countries that you are visiting. Trust me, you don't want to be that traveler on tour that doesn't have any money to do things at all in the country they are visiting, because they didn't budget it out properly. So make a list of your top things that you want to do in all the places that you are going to, and make sure you budget in the cost of doing those activities or seeing those sites, or the entrance fees to that location or museum into your budget. Put it into your budget, know exactly how much it's going to cost, and have that reserved so you never run into the issue of not having money to do that activity. However though, not all activities cost money, and there are a lot of things to do that are free. So if you are working on a very limited budget, supplement your travels with free stuff. There are things like free museums. Beaches are free. Go for a hike. Do a free walking tour. Take some photographs around town. Go to a viewpoint. Visit the local markets. You don't have to buy anything. You can just browse the various shops and vendors. Also look at combining your activities together. So many cities offer city passes, which are discounts on packages of activities to do in that city. So if you are thinking of doing multiple things, look at the city passes and see if those are the things that you want to do. And book online. Not only do you get online discounts, you save yourself from crazy lineups, and generally there is reserved seating or there's separate entrance ways, and it's just cheaper. Like 90% of the time at least, it's just cheaper to book online. Food and drink. You can spend a little on food, and you can spend a lot on food. The best part of this is that it is the easiest budget to kind of adjust to when you're on the road. A lot of hotels and hostels offer free continental breakfast. Eat that. You'll save the cost of one meal a day, unless they charge for it. If they charge extra for it, then just go grab a muffin. Muffins are good. Cook from your hostels or your rentals. Seriously, it's one of the benefits of getting a rental property or staying in a B&B. Kitchens! Also make sure to book hostels that have kitchens and refrigerators. You can save a lot of money by cooking your own food and visiting the local grocery store. Also, it's just fun to shop in foreign grocery stores. Try and avoid restaurants in the popular tourist areas. Go like 1 or 2 streets on the sides, and you will generally find significantly cheaper restaurants than restaurants that are on like the main tourist stretches. Plus, they'll be more authentic. Eat from streetcars or vendors. It's cheap and you can see the food being prepared right in front of you. Now for streetcars, you kind of want the opposite of the restaurants. You want to pick the busy streets, the bigger tourist streets, because these carts generally have a higher turnover, so the food is fresh. It's not sitting there for long periods of time. Avoid drinking out if you can. Creative cocktails on the beach, a beer in the pub, they're fun, but they do take away from your budget. So try and limit your beverages and only have them on occasion so that you are not going overboard and literally drinking away your budget. A good rule of thumb I like to do for budget travel is the rule of thirds, where a third of my budget is on quick, cheap, easy food that's generally cooked or prepared by me. Another third is on the go sandwiches, cafes, again, generally cheaper, quicker, easier. And the last third I like to save for eating out, restaurants, trying local dishes, and kind of the more specialty food items. So I can splurge a bit there, but I also save on my other areas. But of course, you can do whatever ratios you feel comfortable with. Transportation. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult to price out the exact amount that you're going to be going because you know, your day changes and your method of transportation will change each day, but kind of have like a little bit of a rough idea going into it on how much you're going to be spending on your transportation. As a budget tip, I always plan on taking public transportation. I will book my accommodation with that in mind, knowing that it will be near public transportation, metros, buses, or walking distance, so it'll be closer to like the center of the city so I can walk to places. So while I might spend a bit more on my accommodation, I'm going to be spending less on my transportation. It's kind of a give or take. Of course, the opposite is true as well. If you're going to be saving a ton on accommodation, then it is good to know how much it's going to take for you to get to the places that you want to go to from where you are staying. Look for day passes or day cards if you are going to be doing multiple different sites and locations and taking public transit in a day, and also look into top-up cards. A lot of metro systems have a top-up card that you can buy for an initial cost, but if you are doing and you're going to be using the public transportation system a lot, it'll save you a lot more money to top up that card than it would buying individual tickets for each trip that you take. However, though, if you are traveling in a group, sometimes it really can be cheaper to do private transportation. So that means renting a car or hiring a private shuttle or taking a taxi if there's shorter distances. If there's a group of you, you split the cost up amongst you, and private transportation can be cheaper than doing public transportation. There are also coaches that can take you long distances, and trains. Europe has a fantastic train system. They've got all types of passes for EU citizens and non-EU citizens, rail passes that can take you all around Europe. Highly recommend traveling by train. It's a great cheap way to travel around Europe and other parts of the world. The type of transportation you take also heavily depends on your safety and comfort levels. Like nighttime, sometimes it is just not safe to take public transit at night in various parts of the world. So your only option is to take the more expensive private taxi. Again, safety first. Safety should always come first before budget when it comes to transportation. Souvenirs and shopping. Obviously, I can't tell you how much you should spend or can spend on souvenirs and gifts and trinkets. That's up to you. Some people like shopping. Like some people live to shop when they go travel. If that's you, that is you. Budget for it. That's all you gotta do. Just make sure you budget for spending money on shopping. Of course, though, be aware of your luggage restrictions. I've paid a lot more to ship things and to fit things into my luggage because I'd had to buy extra luggage bags to take all my souvenirs and stuff that I bought that ended up costing way more than it's worth and way more hassle than it's worth. All I'm getting at here is just know what you are buying. If you are shopping at most markets around the world, you can barter for the items. You can negotiate. Of course, the amount and how to do that will take time and skill and practice, but you can do it. Bank fees and credit cards. Taking your money out and using your money can cost you a lot of money in foreign countries. So make sure you check with your bank to see how much it's going to cost you to withdraw money from foreign ATMs, how much your credit card is going to charge you in fees. These are things you know because I've spent and wasted a lot of money on bank fees. That's literally just wasted money. Call up your bank, see what you can do if you're going to be traveling for a long period of time. Also, avoid currency exchanges. Currency exchanges are never a good deal. They are a for-profit company, organization, so you are going to lose money if you exchange your cash at a currency exchange. The best ways to access your cash in foreign countries are withdrawals from the ATM in that country, so you get the local currency right from the ATM at the bank rate, which is the best rate you're gonna possibly get in that country, or to exchange the money before you head out on your travels. Pre-trip costs. Visas, travel health insurance, immunizations, vaccinations, power adapters, luggage cases, a new backpack, walking shoes, that new summer dress. This can easily add up to a couple $100 extra in your budget that you need to account for. Home away costs. Just because you're gone traveling doesn't mean your life and expenses back home stop. This applies more to long-term travelers, but try and figure out ways to reduce the costs of your expenses back home for the duration of your trip when you are abroad. Unforeseen costs. Now, I can't tell you what these costs will be because they are unforeseen costs. They are unknown costs, but there will always be some. So make sure you have a not quite emergency money, and emergency money is set aside for when stuff happens when you're on the road. Return money. This is one of my beginner rookie travel mistakes that I always forget to budget for. Returning home and having money to start up again, like paying for things such as groceries, eating, your rent when you come back home from your trip. When it comes down to it, experience is key when it comes to budgets, and the more that you travel, the better you're gonna become at budgeting your travels. Because like anything, traveling on a budget takes time and it takes practice. So there we have it. Good luck on booking all of your travel resources. I hope that's given you some good budget ideas on how you can save money when you're on the road. And also, if you were looking for where to book all this stuff, I've created an awesome travel resource page that lists all of my favorite sites that I use on a daily basis to book all my various types of travel. I'm talking about flights, accommodation, activities, transportation, everything. It's gold. Go check it out. Links there, links down below there, and have fun on booking all of your trips. I'm so excited for you guys, and I hope you've enjoyed this budget series of you can afford to travel, because I really do believe that you guys can afford to travel, so please do go travel. Also, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you aren't already for more tips and advice and travel adventures. Okay, see you guys again in a few days' time with another video.